Hey, today we're learning 21 different ways to answer the question, how are you? This is one of the most common questions ever, so let's get started. Okay, so we're gonna start off with the more positive answers and sort of make our way to more neutral and then a little more negative responses. First up, we have, I'm fine, thanks, and you, or fine, thanks, and you, okay? And I'm starting off with this one because I want you to know that there's nothing wrong with this answer. It is the most common response to how are you? Fine, thanks, and you. As long as you don't sound like a robot when you give this response. I have had conversations with people where I say, how are you? And as soon as I'm done asking the question, they say, fine, thanks, and you? But it's so almost practiced or robotic. So this answer, totally fine, as long as it sounds natural. As well, you might have seen videos on Instagram or on YouTube where teachers are saying, stop saying I'm fine. Stop saying blah, blah, blah. And I just want to clear up that what these teachers actually mean is here are other ways to say this thing, okay? So just be careful when you see these types of lessons and videos with teachers telling you to stop saying this and stop saying that. I think it's not the best choice of wording from the teacher, because there is nothing wrong with saying I'm fine, thanks, and you, okay? So just keep that in mind. So that's your first option. All right, number 2 is I'm good, thanks. I'm good, thanks. So you might have heard that this is not grammatically correct, but when you are answering the question, how are you? It's totally acceptable to say I'm good. It's just like I'm fine, okay? In fact, this is the one that I probably use most often. I usually say I'm good. Or number 3, which is all good, thanks, okay? So I'm good, thanks, or all good, thanks. These are the next 2 options. Next up, we have I'm great, thanks, or I'm fantastic, or I'm amazing. So here you can just use a stronger, more positive adjective than I'm fine, right? Fine is like I'm normal. I'm good, I'm normal. But if you are having a particularly great day, maybe you just got some good news or you're just in a really great mood, you can say I'm great, thanks. I'm wonderful, thanks. I'm fantastic, thanks. So you can always change that adjective. You can always upgrade the adjective a little bit. Another pretty neutral option is I'm well, thanks. I'm well, okay? I'm well is also very common, very similar to I'm fine or I'm good. Next, you can say, yeah, pretty good. I'm pretty good, okay? Pretty good just means quite good. It doesn't mean extremely good or amazing or very good. It just means quite good. Again, it's an alternative to fine. And one more positive option is never been better. I've never been better. So this is an expression, I've never been better. We usually shorten it to never been better. We remove I have, okay? In conversation, it's common to say and to hear, never been better. And this just means that you are doing amazing. This is the best you've ever felt or you've ever been, all right? So if you're having a fantastic day, you can use this one. And keep in mind that after all of these phrases, you can always thank the other person for asking and then ask how they are. And there's a couple different options for that. You can simply say thanks. You can say thank you. You can say thanks for asking. And then you can say and you, what about you, or how about you, okay? So instead of I'm good, just I'm good, you can say I'm good, thanks. What about you? Okay, or I'm good, thanks, and you? So there's, again, variations. You can sort of mix and match these phrases so that you're not always saying, I'm fine, thanks, and you, okay? Okay, next up we have can't complain. Can't complain, or I can't complain. Now, if I ask, how are you? And you say, can't complain, it just means everything is okay. I have nothing to complain about. There's nothing going wrong in my life. So everything is fine. Everything is okay. All right. It's kind of a neutral response. So How are you? Can't complain. What about you? And the next one is also sort of in the middle for when you're not doing amazing, but you're not doing terrible. You can simply say, I'm okay. I'm okay. But if you do say I'm okay, it's suggesting or implying that you're not doing too great. Okay, so you're not bad, you're not great, you're kind of in the middle. I'm okay. Next up, we have not too bad. Not too bad. This response is again kind of in the middle. You're not amazing, you're not terrible, not too bad, you're sort of neutral, okay? And you might hear people repeat this one twice. So for example, if you ask me, Julie, how are you? I might say, yeah, not too bad, not too bad, all right? There's no reason why people repeat this twice. It's just kind of a habit that some people have. And I sometimes do this. I sometimes say, not too bad, not too bad. All right, so not too bad, not too bad. What about you? And the next one is just one word, all right, okay? All right, or I'm all right. So how are you? All right. Again, this one's suggesting that you're kind of in the middle. So not amazing, not terrible. Number 12 is so-so, okay? I'm so-so. All right, now we're kind of moving on to slightly more negative responses. So we started off pretty positive, and then we were in the middle, not having the best day, not having the worst day. And now let's look at some options for maybe when you're not having the best day or you're not feeling the best. You can say same old. Okay, so how are you? Same old. And it's also common to repeat this one twice. So same old, same old. It means everything is the same. It's the same stuff every day. It's the same stuff all the time. There's nothing new, there's nothing exciting. So it's not extremely negative, but it sounds kind of like everything is a little bit boring right now. There's nothing exciting happening. Okay, so how are you? Same old. Next, we have not too good or not great. Not too good, not great, okay? How are you? Not great. And if you say I'm not great or not too good, be prepared for the other person to ask follow-up questions. Most people will say, why? What's wrong? Or are you okay? Or is everything okay? So if you do respond with a negative response, just be ready for people to ask you what's wrong. The next option is, I've been better. I've been better. I've been better. Or you can shorten it a little bit to been better. Been better. Okay, so how are you? Been better. And this one just means you have had better days than this. Number 16 is just one word, but it's quite powerful. It's quite negative, all right? So how are you? Surviving. Surviving. I'm surviving. It means like I'm just staying alive, okay? So it means things are not great, but I'm surviving. So be careful using this one. You absolutely can use it if you want. But again, the other person is most likely going to ask you like, what's wrong? Is everything okay? Our next phrase is an expression, hanging in there. I'm hanging in there. Okay, so how are you? I'm hanging in there. So this one means that I'm not giving up, but I'm having a hard time, okay? And this response is for when the other person already knows about a problem that you're having. Okay, so let's say that, for example, you are going through a divorce. We're friends, you're going through a divorce, and I know that you're going through a divorce. I'm aware of the situation already. And I ask you, how are you? How are you doing? You can say, I'm hanging in there. I'm trying not to give up, okay? But if I don't know that you're going through a hard time, or I don't know that you're going through a difficult situation, then you cannot use this one, all right? So be careful. This is only for when you are struggling with something and the other person already knows that. If the other person has no idea and you say, I'm hanging in there, it's a little bit confusing because they don't really know what you're talking about. Another option is, I'm not doing too well. So how are you? I'm not doing too well. This could be if you're not feeling well physically, or if you're stressed, or if you're just going through a hard time. I'm not doing too well. All right, number 19, how are you? Don't get me started. Don't get me started. Okay, this one is for when you have had a really bad day and one bad thing has happened after another. So it's one bad thing after another. Maybe you get home at the end of the day and your husband or wife says, "How are you?" And you say, "Oh, don't get me started." Okay, this is a phrase or an expression that we use when we're about to talk about a series of bad events, okay, or a series of negative things that have happened. So, for example, let's say I've had a rough day and you ask how I am. And I say, "Oh, don't get me started. This morning I missed my bus, so I was late for work, and I missed a really important meeting. And because of that, I'm off a project that I was working on. My boss is angry at me," and one thing after another. Okay, so when people say, "Don't get me started," they usually keep talking, actually. So if you're gonna tell a story about a bad day, you can start off like this. "Oh, don't even get me started on the day that I've had," or "don't get me started." And this one is also for a bad day. If you've had a bad day or a bad week or whatever, and someone asks, "How are you?" you can say, "Oh, don't ask." Don't ask, okay? Don't ask means I don't even want to talk about it. I just want to forget about it. I'm so stressed, okay? So don't ask. Now, these negative ones that we've discussed are more for friends, family, people who you know well, people who you're comfortable talking with about your problems, about a bad day. If you are talking to someone new, someone you don't know well, someone you need to kind of keep a positive vibe with, then I would recommend going with something more neutral, of course, like, "I'm fine, thanks, I'm good, thanks, pretty good, everything's okay," and to kind of stay away from the negative ones. However, I think there's nothing wrong with answering this question honestly. Of course, just assess the situation and think about who you're talking to. All right, and number 21 is a little bit of a bonus. It is how you can answer "How are you?" in a job interview. So in every single job interview, you have to make a little bit of small talk, and the first question they usually ask is, "How are you?" Instead of saying, "I'm fine, I'm good, I'm great, thanks, and you," I would recommend developing your answer a little bit more, like this. "My day's been great so far. It's been productive, and your office was really easy to find. So far, so good. Thanks for asking. What about you?" Now, an answer like this is a great idea or a great option for a job interview because, first of all, it's positive. It makes a good first impression of you. And second of all, it opens the door for the interviewer to transition into small talk or ask you some questions. And it also shows that you are confident, all right? So I do have a full module on job interviews and how to prepare for job interviews and respond to questions in my Essential English for Business course. So if you want to learn more about that, I will link it down below for you. So there you have it, 21 natural ways to answer this extremely common question, "How are you?" If you have any other responses that you would like to share, please do drop them in the comments. As well, don't forget to grab your free ebook, English Conversations Made Simple. I've written this ebook to help you with strategies for natural English conversations, and you can learn tons more phrases and questions to use in your English conversations. This ebook is totally free, and you can get your copy by clicking the link below this lesson. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments for me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon in the next one.